Good evening. Hopefully you can hear me and see me and everything is working okay. So I now have more time on my hands than I have had lately. So I have made a long list of projects that I want to get through. And trying to get through them has been difficult, so I'm trying to force myself to focus on at least one and get one finished by broadcasting it to the universe, so why not? So that is why I'm streaming this. So the projects that I'm going to try and complete this evening is a universal battery power adapter thing. I think there's probably a proper name for it, but I can't think what it is. For my mirrorless Olympus Micro Four Thirds camera. So this is what I will use. I mean, generally, because it's got a nice long zoom and a bunch of other features that I like about it, I will take it along to when we go out flying or going to events or things like that, because I can shoot stuff in the air and get some reasonably tight shots of it. So that is what I'll do there. But also when we're doing live streams on location, so when we went to the Milton Keynes Makerspace back in January, those 3 short months ago, then this is the camera that I would like to use, but the problem is that the battery doesn't last that long, especially if it's doing a load of stuff. So because the thing is, it's got like 5-axis stabilization that I can turn off, but I often forget to, and a bunch of other things that it just uses battery really quickly. And when you're trying to do a 2, 3, 4, in this case of mini air show, 8 hours live stream we tried to do, then you need a longer than just one little tiny battery pack that it can do. So that's the battery. Where's the camera? There's the camera. That's the battery pack that it usually takes. That's a nice little aftermarket one that I've got there, BLN1. But so what I want is one of those batteries, but I want to be able to plug it into whatever I've got. So XCC connector, ideally, because then I can plug in any of my quad packs. I can plug in my field pack. I can plug in, for example, a mains power supply that sticks out, something sensible, into an XC60 and power my camera that way. So that is what I wanted to do, and I initially thought, well, what I'll have to do is I'll have to CAD this up and then print it, or try and get someone else to print it or whatever. But happily, it just so happens that because this is my automatic reaction, is if I'm going to have to CAD something up, do I really have to CAD something up? Because it's going to probably take some time and a few iterations, and I'm lazy. So I went onto Thingiverse and looked it up, and there we go. There's a perfectly good model there already. So this is by Faith Blinded on Thingiverse. It's the Olympus OMD BLN1 dummy battery. So what he's got here is he's got the little bit that looks like a battery. He's got a very clever bit here, so he's used these spade connectors as the contacts, so they push into the side where these contacts show out, and then it's just a little empty box inside to put in my case, a beck to do that. So what he's done is he's made a little made his own lithium ion pack, I think, there, but I will just be making a beck, putting a beck in it, and then plugging whatever I can find into the other end. That's how I'm going to do it. Yep, so this is the one by Faith Blinded on Thingiverse, and that was the file that I used to print it. So happily, being if you don't know already, my day job is in 3D printing, but not in the filament-based desktop ones you might have seen. I primarily work with what's called selective laser sintering. So this is a process where instead of a little hot glue gun kind of thing squeegeeing out melted filament, what it does is a big oven full of inert gas, and it heats up a very, very, very fine powder just below its melting point. Laser at the top draws out each layer in the powder, and the extra heat from the laser melts the powder together, so that you end up with a kind of molten part that you want in a big mass of powder, and it keeps going down and down and down, so you end up with your molten part in a big block of powder. You wait for that all to cool down so it's a solid part in powder, and you blast away the powder and you end up with the part. And what you end up with is actually in white nylon, but I've also dyed a grey colour to match the other batteries that I've got. So yeah, so this is kind of what I'll be starting off with. Oh, in fact, I have a nicer little camera for you to see. Hopefully that kind of makes some sense. So there you go, nice little SLS printed part, so you can see. Hold on, so I'll just grab the original battery so you can see how it compares. So you can see on there, there's the, is that going to focus at all? Go on, you want to focus? No. But yeah, you can see it's the Olympus BLN1. We've got the various different contacts for doing different things. So whatever the I is, whatever the S is, negative, T, and positive. So there's a bunch there that I think are probably things like measuring capacity or something like that, but I don't really care about them. They might even be just charging. Let's see what's in there. Just about see in there. There's the contacts that it touches onto. So there's the spring on this side that is just for holding it in the right position, and then there's the three contacts there. They look like they're the positive, the whatever the T is, and the negative. But judging by what the guy on Thingiverse has done, there's only the two there that are positive and negative, and that's all I'm really interested in, because I'm just going to power it with whatever I've got lying around. And then there is so the spade connectors here. They even helpfully labelled on there. I don't know if you can see. Oh, I'll use my other little camera then. Whoa. Let's have a go. Here we go. Trying to work out my left and my right. And so there's a focus there somewhere. Yeah, you can see there's a positive and a negative. There's the two slots where the spade connectors go in, and then that shows where the spade connectors will be shown. So just let's go back to that. So there's the spade connector goes in there, and so that shows up there like that. And so there's the positive and the negative connections, and these crimp together, hence the crimping tool over here. And then there's a bunch of stuff. So I have gone through my collection of decks and decided this is the one that I am going to use. No particular reason other than it's, you know, here and seems about right. There's a tiny one that Fraser gave me, which I was looking into, and there was some reports on the internet that it might not be very good at not giving out the right voltage. It's particularly sensitive to temperature and things like that, and like I'm not sure how much I trust my camera to be not sensitive to big changes in voltage, so I'm just gonna kind of assume that I want to be as careful as possible. A bunch of others were really big and I didn't trust them. Whereas this one seems, it fits in the box, which is important. So it's nice and neat and tidy. It's got all the right voltages, it's got a fair amount of current that it can do, and I couldn't find anyone having any issues with it online, so no one said, it fried my thing, so I'm going to assume that it's probably okay. I will be checking it all as well, the multimeter and everything, but it seems like a good starting point. So that is, that is what I'm going to use on that side of things. I've got my XT60 connector. I'm pretty sure this, I don't know, people might know better. I suspect the only time I bought a black XT60 connector would have been from, actually I might have bought it from Hobby LC, but otherwise, first time at least I bought XT60 connectors that were black would have been Radio C. It might still be one of those that I just had lying around. So what we got? Input and output. Well, presumably that's the output because that's got the servo lead on it. So that's what we want to connect to the spade connectors. We've got that bit which we want to have as the input, so we want that to come through there. With those bits, we want a couple of bits of heat shrink on there, and yeah, that seems pretty straightforward. Bits of cable in case I need bits of cable, but it doesn't look like it. What are these like? This is silicone wire, so I'm pretty happy with that. This doesn't feel like silicone wire. I don't know why it would be on one side and not the other, but I don't know. It doesn't seem that bad. I think I'll probably just trust it and not faff about too much. And I will just get on with it, I guess. Hello, Spider. How are you doing? Are you very, very bored? Because I think you probably will need to be to hang around here, but never mind. Yeah. How's the stream holding up so far? Is it all working okay? Can you hear me okay? Can you see things okay? Let me know in the chat, because this is, I'm pretty sure, first time I've done something live solo, but someone might remember something that I don't. Let me know. Where's the cutter? Because that only needs to be very, very short. Although I need to bend those over. Let's go about that. Everything seems good. Excellent. How are you doing, Magical Pencil? Are you doing anything in VR at the moment? Have you been playing more of Half-Life, Alex? Because that's another one I think I will probably, another project I'll get round to at some point during the next few weeks will be building myself a computer that will actually be able to handle more than this 13-inch laptop that I've been using for the past some number of years, couple of years? It's probably coming up for 3 years. Hello, Sheldon. How are you doing? Have you been flying again since you posted on Facebook? Hold the side cutters the other way up when stripping wire? What do you mean? That way? Why? The flat side should be used to push the wire off. Okay, well, yeah, it works. I mean, I've got an actual automatic wire stripper-y thing somewhere, but I'm lazy and can't be bothered. Also, hence the rest of the stream is because I'm being lazy and keep putting these things off. So you're saying it that way around. I don't really see why there would be a difference, but I'm sure you know better than I do, being a pro and things. I'm very dubious about crimping. I don't like crimping tools. but you know, face the fear and all that. Except make sure you actually put them on the right ones, might help. Maybe put the output bits on the output. This is another problem with not paying attention to what you're doing and instead trying to like read chat and things as well. Which is another reason why I thought, you know, this is a nice and simple build. I should be able to, you know, do this and stream, and even if I fuck up, it's not going to be that bad because I'm just going to check everything well in advance before actually putting it in a camera. I might need to get my I'll be alright. Has that got to bend round a particular way? I don't know. It seems like that would be the way round it would go. Let's just fudge that in there. Aren't blue crimps too big? I don't know. This is what I had. I went to where did I go? Oh, I went to there we go, B&Q. I went to B&Q and this is what they had. So this is what I picked up and went with. We'll see. It might be terrible, in which case I might just need to solder it to the actual spades to use the spades. I don't know. We'll see. This will be a learning experience for everyone, or at least for me, hopefully, not just a failure experience, which also might happen. But yeah, it's yeah, that doesn't hold on at all. So I might just entirely take off that insulation, and yeah, these are my crappy ones, I'll use these. Might just take off the insulation and solder to it. I've got others. If I fuck it up, it will be alright. Let's try and keep things where people can see them. Yeah. Anyone else been building anything lately? Have you flown your turbine thing, monster, Sheldon? That seems like probably something that you can't fly in your back garden. Yeah, exactly. I mean, all I really need is like a bit of metal to make contact with that, because I'm not actually putting it into female spades, so I don't really care about much really, as long as there's a reasonably secure electrical connection, then it doesn't really matter. I'm not gonna fuss about too much. Yeah, I'll just put that in there and just bend it over. Yeah, like that. Bend that round just to make sure that there isn't something that's just gonna short everything and give me a very bad day. Strip it back a bit more and fold it up, then solder it and crimp. So, taking Sheldon's tip of doing it that way. Oh, fuck. That didn't go well. There we go. Fold it up. So, like, fold that. Fold that over and tin that, and then try and crimp to that, you reckon? I'll get another one and see if it actually works. You never know. You might be right. If not, I can always just solder directly to a thing. What are these? I don't know where they're made from. I might be able to solder to them, might not. We shall find out. I'm attempting to make a small gear pump. Oh, is it like a peristaltic pump, or is that a different thing from a gear pump? I don't really know about pumps for fuel. I just only ever did IC cars where you just kind of had the little fuel pot and squirted it into the tank. That was all I ever did for nitro stuff. Well, I say that, I learnt to fly on a nitro Watt 4 or something of that ilk. A Chris Watt design, I'm sure. Yeah, I was not fiddling about with it because it was a club trainer. And the club people just, had a group of us young uns around and just set it up and had it flying and then passed it over and did it that way. It was somewhat of a group effort. Probably the same result if you double it over. I suspect so, but we can always hope. Well, where's my solder? Hidden back in the microphone. So, Sheldon, what is a gear pump then, if that's significantly different from a peristaltic pump? Is it like just spins it really fast rather than actually squishing it through a pipe, or how does it work? Is that into that bit? No. Is it? It is different. No. Why isn't my soldering iron? Oh, it is heating up. There we go. So it's folded over. Just gonna let's try not set fire to a battery. Just want to fold it over. Put loads of solder on it. Try and beef it up a bit, and we'll see how that goes. It's like a root compressor. I don't know what these things are. I'm sure it means more to you guys, because I think you probably, between you, had a lot more IC experience than I have. I think I probably have more experience on actual manned petrol engines in cars than I have had on IC. Let's see if this will work. That seems more. There we go. That seems to have done the trick. Thank you very much, Magical Pencil. See, it's worth streaming it. Otherwise, I would have just been faffing around for ages trying to work things out. This way. This isn't how this isn't how streams usually work, is it? Oh, have I put it wrong around? Oh, no, I can just do it that way. It's fine. Usually streams are like the experts are doing it, and then you're learning from watching them. Whereas this is like the other way around, where I've got the experts telling me what to do, and I'm just doing what they tell me. Works for me. What have you been up to, Robin's FPV flights? You been building anything, flying anything, hiding from the rain, getting a tan in the English rain? Fake sponge. Are you kitchen towel? So I'm not fancy like the Painless 360 and getting a nice shiny sponge. I just get a bit of kitchen towel because it works for me. Nice big blob. See if that works again. I mean, it worked for the other one. It should work, right? Let's maybe have them round the same way. I mean, at least, well, maybe they're both round the wrong way then, but meh. Trying to finish a psychology degree with a uni chat, plus I work for in care. So wow, that is heavy times. Best of luck with that. I mean, it's difficult enough doing like, well, it was difficult enough, not difficult enough anymore. It was like yesterday when I was still in work and had work to do, and for the past however many weeks of doing work, it was hard enough doing the same things that I've been doing for the past 6 years, but with just fewer people in the office and just people working from home. But to do a degree whilst also working, that sounds like quite the challenge to try and work it out on the fly like that, because I bet unis are not the fastest at dealing with that kind of thing, are they? Academic kind of institutions, not known for their spontaneity and flexibility. So the idea is that goes in there. I might have made these a bit short. Oh well. We'll start with the easy one. Oh yeah, your big empty cell light. Can't remember what it was now. Whether it was lithium ion or lithium polymer, and that just bends down like that. That's definitely straining those cables. If I bend that one down a bit further, might have to actually remove. I don't know why this barrier is there. There's probably a reason. It's probably a good reason, but I'll find out what that reason was after I've taken it away. That's definitely gonna need like gluing in or something, because that is not staying in place. It seemed like a good idea. And that kind of sits. 40 cells. That is a lot of spot welding. Well, if you've got the right tool for the job, I'm sure that's easy-ish, maybe? Don't know. Never had. Well, I've tried to use the one at the London Hackspace. So, in case anyone doesn't know what a Hackspace is, it's like a kind of like a community-run gym for making things. So they got all the cool toys that you can't have at home because it'd be too big. So they've got like laser cutters and 3D printers and table saws and all that kind of thing. And yeah, the idea is that it's kind of a community centre that's just run by the community, and you have all the big fancy tools in there, including, at the London Hackspace, a battery welder. So went up there, it must have been a couple of years ago, and I tried to go with that, but I'm not sure whether it was the actual metal that was a bit dodgy, or whether the spot weld was dodgy, because this is the problem with having tools sitting around in like a community space. It's like tragedy of the commons. No one really knows who's done what to what. I mean, there are things that have particular own, kind of lead people on it and keep an eye on them. But most of the run-of-the-mill hand tools. I'm going to do myself an injury here, aren't I? Oh well. Yeah. But that's kind of the idea, is that rather than everyone having dirt cheap stuff that they can afford and fits in their room, everyone clubs together, puts in about, on average, 15 quid a month, and gets a space and all the shiny tools, and they all go there together, and everyone hangs out, and it's, you know, a utopia, except people, humans, terrible, don't trust them. So, you know, it works to a degree. London Hackspace has maybe been a bit too big, so there's other ones that have learnt from that kind of mistake of being the victims of their own success. So some of them have limits on how many people can join them. So like I think the South London Makerspace, which is of course south of the river instead of in Wembley, they have like a limit on the people that can join, and then after that limit, then it's one in, one out kind of thing, like a supermarket at the moment. But they there we go. That will kind of do. That will do me. I should probably have checked like voltages and stuff before I got this far, but never mind. It's hardly a lot of time down the drain, isn't it? Half an hour. That's the time spent fiddling around with OBS and doing all the things. Yeah, so I've got at least 3 weeks of doing what I want now. Probably longer, possibly shorter, but in all likelihood it's pretty likely to be at least 3 weeks. I've been followed. Might need some adjustments as well. Well, that's not bad. Grips it, which is probably a good thing, right? I didn't bring any epoxy. Oh well. What might I have to glue that in? Oh well, I'll think about that later. For now, while the soldering iron is hot, just get these bits, stick them on there. Around the wire where it exits the box. That's probably not a bad shout. That's way too big to be silly. That well, what is it going to be? 2 to 1, right? Yeah, it might just about do it. I might see if I can find a slightly smaller one. It might be too small though. Yes, good evening, Mr. Fruitycakes. How are you doing on this fine evening after a couple of days of rain? I don't know how many of you are in the same position as I am, but there is no way I would be able to get anywhere out into the countryside where I am. I think that one is slightly smaller. I think that'll be a better size. Let's have a bit of that. Hello, what? Ah, so I already did that for those. Oh well, never mind. So, something like that. Why not? I could be clever and have... No. Hold on, gonna go grab my heat gun. It's hidden over here. Let's quickly move that. Yeah, I don't have your nice fancy heat gun station that you have, Sheldon. I have a hairdryer that's trying to sell itself a bit too much, but should work. Now, might have slightly overdone it. This is what you get for having studio lighting. Not quite, but there we go. You've just eaten a massive steak and now a beach. Oh, you are now. I see. I can pass that. Positive is red. I know that. Yeah. That's what I get for using the dodgy cutters. Right, that's what Sheldon likes, so I'll do it that way. Sheldon. What have you been up to, Mr. Fruitcakes, besides eating a massive steak? Have you been building anything? Anyone been on a simulator recently? Anyone tried Curry Sim? Or do you stick with Velocidrone? Or are you doing some fixed wing stuff in like AccuRC or whatever the cool kids use nowadays? Or there's the Xbox one, right? The DCL, something like that. I don't know. Oh. Can you just hear tinkling along in the background the loop of music that we had for poweringon.co.uk back when we thought, this Let's Drone Out lark is easy, we should set up loads of things. Oh, come on, heat up. Come on, clean up. Yeah, we had been doing Let's Drone Out on the Thursday Night Show.com for quite a while. I'm probably going to need. I've got a little thing, male, well, female, whatever. The other half and an XT60 to sink the heat out of that somewhere. This happens to be. Need to update the Curry Sim. Yeah, this is the yeah. So we've been on the Thursday Night Show for some number of months, however long it was. I can't remember. Some while. Yeah. I mean, we like to say that we kept crashing their servers, but the truth is that we just kept crashing their numbers, because you know, people that tune in to listen to music probably don't want to hear us prattling about. Oh, Frank lives in an elevator. Oh, right, yeah, little elevator music. Yeah, so we'd decided that we couldn't really keep on crashing their audience and trying to build up our audience on the Thursday Night Show. So we started our own little clone, which was heat shrink, pay attention, put the things in the things. So we started, and maybe tin that as well, that might be a good idea. But also tell me whether or not this tip is going to be any good at doing an XT60, because it's probably not, and I might have to go and find another tip. But you never know. Yeah, I think that's. Try bumping that up a bit. Yeah. Yeah, so what was I saying? So yeah, poweringon.co.uk was our clone of the Thursday Night Show. Let me get the other eye and do this properly, like. Yeah, so we had our own little encoder, and so it was just audio back then, and we would just have a bit of software called Butt, which is the broadcasting utility tool. Broadcast using this tool. That was what it was called. That was what we would use. Broadcast using this tool, but to broadcast to an encoder at Sharpstream, where Jack is currently working, and that would go out through the website and people would listen to us that way. And that was how we used to do our live show before we got onto YouTube, because we were a radio show. So we didn't need no video. Yeah, and then on that we needed a little failover, so when there wasn't a show on, there would be a loop of music and little stings of various people saying things like tune in to poweringon.co.uk or whatever it was you were listening to, poweringon.co.uk. Yeah, it was all fancy and stuff. Is he still up yet? Yeah, that's really relatively heated up. And yeah, so I've dug out that music and that is going on in the background on a little loop, because it's there. I think I paid someone to make it, so might as well use it. Definitely positive. Cool. Yeah, just find it entertaining to dig back through the lurid history of Let's Drone Out. That gonna... No, that's not got enough heat in it. But it's solid, that will do. I don't know, yeah. There's the other one. Yeah, so that's why it sounds like I live in an elevator. What else we've got in the chat? Magical Pencil's got a 4S toothpick flight controller, but it's the OG Beta FPV one and could go flamey. Beta FPV have just brought out a B3 of the 20 amp. Cool. Been working their 2S ones for a while now. We're picking some about 65 grams all up. Put my home one when they first came out, and I'm stuck with the same formula. It is a rocket for sure. We'll get about 6+ minutes. Cool. Yeah. Now I've got a bunch of other projects sitting in boxes over there. Like this is the camera power supply box, if you can see that. And yeah, I've got a bunch of others that are also made out of old all-in-one camera boxes. What they came in. Come on. Well, I need to get out the my vice, and then I can actually have things at like a reasonable angle instead of just propping them up on whatever's lying around on my desk at the time and whatever angle it happens to lie at. But you know, it'll do. Come on, stay, sit, roll over. Actually, it's doing that. That's what I don't want it to do. Yeah, so I've got a bunch of other projects. I might stream them, I might not, depending on how this goes, depending on how people feel at the time, depending on how I feel at the time, depending on what my internet feels like at the time. And also there's, like, I'm not sure how much of them I want to really be showing. I don't know how closed source I'm feeling about them. I mean, it's not like anyone can like pinch source code for parts, but yeah, I don't know. I might just keep them close to my chest until I've actually got them working. There we go. That seems reasonable. Yeah. Just gonna go shrink that heat shrink onto there. Let me poke it so that you know the stream hasn't just frozen. There we go. Also got my RGB spotlights down there, and so I'm staring into them while doing everything, so this is why the heat shrinking. First of all, I can't see, and yeah, but there we go, that will do. I guess that holds that in place, so oh yeah, they won't come out, that'll be fine. Before I do that, let's plug something in, maybe, and measure what we get out of it. I'm gonna go find a battery. Right, let's see what this comes out like. Right, hopefully you don't get any smoke. Hopefully we just get nothing, essentially. Boom. So far, so not explodey. This cheapo, not the camera. This cheapo multimeter, but it does the job. And hopefully, oh, is it adjustable? Oh no, it's input and it's output. Okay, cool. Nothing to worry about there. How do I do this? Let's do it that way. That way you can see. 5.3 volts. That is not 5 volts, but that's fine. That is fine. That is within spec. So the moment of truth. Let's unplug that. Is that going to snag anything there? That'd be fine. Put that in there. Come on. Oh no, I didn't check. Oh, it does. It's cool. That goes in there like that. That just has to sit around, I guess. Usually going on a tripod or whatever. Let's open it up so you can see whether or not it works. Now, boo. That's anticlimactic. Maybe this is why I got one that was adjustable originally. Let's just sanity check this by grabbing. Let's grab that. Positive, yes. Negative, yes. Maybe it does need some of the other ones, but Mr. Thingiverse said it was fine. Let's just double check this is what we would be expecting. you would expect that would be the ideal situation, but that is not what happened. Maybe it's not making a good enough connection with the actual contacts in the camera is another possibility. Where was that battery? Oh, I'm holding it. That would be right. Yeah, this is maybe why I originally bought a Beck that was adjustable, so I can actually adjust it to whatever this was, because that is not 5 volts either. Cool. No, I'm an idiot. That would be what's happened there. Oh well. See, this is why you don't make decisions about these things whilst half asleep after 3 weeks of solid, yeah, just very solid weeks. Right, so my alternatives were somewhere. Where did I put the other Becks? I've got. I've got this fat bastard, but that seems overkill. That's disappointing. There was thinking this would be a nice, quick thing. I could just do and it would be done, but I'm an idiot. Yeah, the thinking was, the thinking was that although it's 2S, it would probably have a voltage regulator, or I just, in all honesty, I got it into my head that it was 5 volts, and forgot about the fact that I originally bought a Beck that was adjustable so that I could adjust it to the 2S voltage that was going to be. And then I looked at it and didn't like it anymore, and then went and found another Beck that just went in my head and didn't refer back to the original notes that I've made that it was 2S. And I just had it in my head that it was 5 volts. Where would I have put that other Beck? Maybe there was something. That's what I put it in. This project box, which is for a different project, and I thought that would be a perfect one to use for that. But this is the one that's there. So this is what I've got that would allow me to adjust it. Let me find the camera so that you can see what this is. Way. It's the Mini 360 little board. Let me try and fix it. So yeah, tiny little board. This is the one where people have been like, oh, because it's very sensitive to temperature, that's why it's got a little adjustable thing. But if I adjust it to a low 2S voltage, then how bad can it be, right? And this doesn't sound. This is why I'm not comfortable with it, because like it's quite an expensive camera, at least for me. Well, I don't want to use. That's the point. I want to be able to like grab multiple. I mean, I might even put in a. I don't know. But I want to be able to plug it into the, whatever power supply I've got going. I don't want to have to rely on having a N-cell battery. I've got this. That'll do. And I just need to adjust it. Damn it. I did not want to have to make this. Oh yeah, like this. I mean, it might work. It might still work. I will have a go. But I think it's probably just not enough volts. But We shall see. You never know. I might be lucky / unlucky. Has the camera got USB input? No. Do you think I would be faffing around with this if it had any sensible connections whatsoever? Let's see. No. Definitely not. No, it definitely needs more oomph and 5 point whatever volts that was. Back to the original plan. Yeah, I only have one 18650, so I don't want to be faffing around making up multiple packs. I would just buy more battery packs if that was the case. You can get like the thing is that they've like with this camera, it's got let me just take this off so I can show you. What they do is they sell this for a lot of money, and then to do anything like, oh, you want to be able to plug in an external power supply, ooh, you're going to have to pay for another thing that plugs into this and gives you these connections, and then you can have, you know, hot swapping batteries and all kinds of fancy stuff. But yeah, I don't want to spend another 300 quid on something that takes these connectors and breaks it out into another, you know, battery thing. That just seems like a kick in the teeth to me when I have a million batteries and power supplies and various things. So I'm going to undo what I've just done. Sigh of disappointment. But I might as well. Yeah, I mean that'll be way too short if I do. If I'm just lazy and do that. Let's just solder it. Yeah, fuck it. That can be my wire. That will do. Oh, what these things? Is that what you're talking about, Pencil? These mini 360s. Yeah, it's fine. It's just the temperature instability of the voltage output. But yeah, like I said, if I put these on a low 2S to begin with, then you know, umpty 20% higher isn't gonna fry anything, at least. That seems like let's start again. But I did make somewhere, hooray, little bits of silicon wire. That can go away. That's crap. That's crap. That's crap. That don't need. That's crap. Right. Welcome to step 1 of the whole thing that I started an hour ago. Fool. Right. I can adjust that as long as I have that, so that as long as I can reach it, then that will be fine. But I do quite like to put some. I'll put some heat shrink, the right size of heat shrink, which is here. One of these. I'll put it over there, just hide it out that way, and then I can put it on. No, I'll have to I'll feed that through, put the heat shrink on, put that down to the end, solder it onto there, but then leave it on cables. I'm going to do that in a second. That seems like... Ah, see? Poweringon.co.uk, built into the actual tune. I thought it was an additional thing we put in the playlist, but obviously not. Yeah, I know, but that means additional operations, and see previous notes about being lazy. That. There we go. Yeah, it's not the current draw that I'm worried about on this. It is just how likely it is to just squirt in 17 volts into my camera. That would concern me. Because I mean, if it was 3 months ago, I'd be like, it was just an excuse to buy a new camera. But now I don't feel economically secure enough to just fanny about blowing up cameras. But that is what I'm gonna do anyway, so never mind. I've got a phone, right? Who needs a camera when you've got a phone nowadays? Pretty much the only reason I even use that camera now is the zoom, because my phone is just so much better as a camera. It's better night vision with the Google Night Sight, whatever it is. It just seems it's there. It's always charged. It's small. It's light. It's very stable. Even with it's a bigger sensor and all that stuff, so it should be lower noise. But I'm not blowing it up and putting it on the wall. If I was, then I would probably break out the old camera. In having a little meltdown here. Oh well. Get my soldering iron back to a sensible temperature. While that's going on, and we'll get these ready as well. I'll tack them on I'll tack them on first, and then I'll deal with spade connectors afterwards, when one end isn't just flailing around in the wilderness. Let's see. But yeah, in terms of my other projects that I have lined up, I've got a thrust vectoring project that I've been working on for absolutely ages, in the occasional 5 minutes I've had sitting around at work with nothing to do, which is very, very rare nowadays. I've been designing a little thrust vectoring mount. I've made those way too long. There you go, that's what I'm used to, is like big chunky things, not tiny little things. Never mind. But yeah, so I've got that I've designed from scratch. That one, not this one. This one was from Thingiverse, but the gimbal, not gimbal. What am I talking about? The thrust vectoring mount that I've designed. Well, actually, I say designed from scratch. I've adapted it from David Vinderstall's tilt mounts, because I like his direct drive servo thing. I'm gonna have to use a better snips in a minute. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I really like that idea. Not having any slop, not having any servo horns or control rods to flap about and catch on things when I throw it in a bag and chuck it on my back, because I do not have a car, because I'm in the stinky middle of London and cars are death. No, I like driving, but not in London, and you know, a car parking space around here would be more than my life's worth, probably. Oh, I've heated up the wrong one. Yeah, so I need to stick. If I'm gonna take something to a field and actually fly it, then it needs to be able to come with me on public transport, so it needs to go in a backpack, so it needs to be small and portable and shovable into a backpack, and big planes are not doable in that way. So I like my little wings. Fly bonsai, that's the one that I've just taken off. Oh no, it's not. But my bonsai has seen better days. Fraser was nice enough to donate to me a mini AR wing that he had made a bit of a mess of. I've fixed up quite easily, and yeah, I'm going to make that thrust vectorable, because I eventually want to get rid of control surfaces on it, because I don't like the way that when I shove it into a bag, the bits on it, the control horns and control rods and push rods, whatever you want to call them, they all snag and bend and it all goes horribly wrong, and I just don't like that. I want to get rid of them, make it more like a quad, you just chuck it about and it's not so delicate. So that is what I'm going to do with that, is I'm going to, well, I've designed this thrust vectorable motor mount, and I will get that kind of working, but I'll keep the control surfaces to begin with. Then I will fly it up a good few mistakes high, then I'll switch it over from the control surfaces to the thrust vectoring and see whether or not it's actually controllable, and assuming it is controllable, which I think it should be, I don't see why it wouldn't be. I should put that through first. I'm making a cack of this, never mind, it'll do. Yeah. At least this isn't going to be under like flying type vibrations, so I don't think I have to be quite so worried about it. But yeah, once I've proven that the thrust vectoring stuff is enough to control it, then I will take off the control surfaces entirely and just fix the control surfaces and get rid of the servos, or the extra servos, and just do everything by thrust vectoring, because that sounds like fun to me, with the added bonus that hopefully I can get it to tail sit and hover and do daft things like that, because it sounds like fun. In fact, that's also possibly an idea now that we're in lockdown, because otherwise I can't fly wings while we're in lockdown, but I thought it'd be quite fun to get this thrust vectoring working, and try and maiden a 600mm wing by hovering it over my bed. I thought that'd be quite entertaining, but depends how well I get on with various bits of tail sitting bicopter type flight controller software, whether it's something that I can get to grips with fairly quickly, or whether it's going to be a massive headache and I can't be bothered and I leave it until we're actually allowed to go outside and fly. But yeah, that's another one of my projects that I want to build. Then I've got the micro gimbal, which again, I'm gonna have to find a better way of holding this stuff together so I can actually stay. Well, I don't even have any blue tack or anything. Yeah. Let's do this properly. Odd question, did you go to SJL? I did. I did go to Sir John Law's Blacksmith, Joe. Are you also an alumnus of SJL? Did you happen to see me and well, when I was in sixth form and got a load of year 8s and 9s to build water bottle rockets, and we launched them. You designed a vacuum seal box. Yes, I did design the vacuum seal box, and yeah, that was an interesting time. Let's move this over here so that you can see. That's quite cool. We were a bit big in the, I can actually move this around and then you can see. But yeah, the vacuum seal box, that was for, in fact that was what got me the job where I was working with controlled documents on the Eurofighter Typhoon. But yeah, it was a project I did for my A level that was it was for ground-based stuff. Well, actually, this book was put as a concept for ground-based stuff to get rid of the time-consuming part of doing a lot of the black boxes for the electronics for all the various bits of gear on surface to air missiles, whatever else, and they have the black boxes on them, on the stuff on the ground as well, and they have like a million screws on them to evenly distribute the pressure on the electroconductive gasket that goes around between the chassis and the lid, because if you have a slightly uneven load on the gasket, then it leaks, and you don't want it leaking EM because it's very sensitive, and might also leak stuff that lets the enemy know where you are, and you don't want to be doing that. So you have all these screws, but that means that it takes a long time to actually put the lid back on because you're faffing about doing this one up by a tiny portion of a turn and then the one diagonally opposite by a tiny portion of a turn to get them all even. And I built this concept and was proving this concept of a vacuum sealed lid mechanism, which would mean that you just kind of suck all the air out and then it holds the lid on, and because you've got a really good gasket there anyway, it should kind of hold it there for a reasonable amount of time. What have I got that could hold? Maybe I just need to do I still live? Didn't it only fail? Oh no, that was the thing, is like that was using, so the one that failed when the power failed, that was using a crap gasket. That was using so I laser cut the equivalent of the box out of acrylic, and then I made this crap vacuum gasket out of like mastic, like kitchen, bathroom kind of sealant stuff, just to kind of prove the concept. So that as long as you had the vacuum pump on, then it held on, and as soon as the vacuum pump went off, then it squidged out and let go. But using an actual decent gasket, it worked pretty well. Yeah, that's quite cool. So too fiddly. yeah, so were you in the tech at SJO then, Blacksmith Joe, or did you just happen to bump into it? I guess if you're a year below, I did that. I can't remember if I did that A2 or AS. I guess probably A2. In which case, if you're the year below, then you'd be at AS. So I guess you'd have been in one of the tech classes at least. With Mr. Maidham and who else was there? I can't remember now. There we go. That'll do. Cool. What did you do as your projects? I mean, this was a while ago, but you know, it's quite cool. I'm glad you like the soundtrack, Jack. I thought you might appreciate digging out the old classics from Powering On. Let's actually leave that in there. Ooh. I don't know where my other soft jaw has gone, but it'll do. Actually, that's what I need to do, isn't it? I need to be able to get to the other side so that I can actually adjust it, because that would be good. Mr. Rowe, yes. Mr. Maidham and Mr. Rowe. The thing I most miss about the tech department at SJL, definitely the laser cutter. I haven't since had quite that amount of easy access to a laser cutter, and that was amazing. I cut so many things there, just grabbing random bits of acrylic and just making like camera mounts, and well, obviously things have moved on since then. All sorts of things. So yeah, if I had like a big space of my own, then I would definitely get a laser cutter. I've been trying to convince my work to get a laser cutter for ages. In fact, they do have. Well, they've paid. They've paid for a laser cutter about 3 years ago. The Glowforge, which was a big Kickstarter for a kind of basic level laser cutter. It's a 3D laser cutter. It's not really 3D. It refocuses the laser on the fly to match where it sees that the material is and what height it is. So even if you've got some kind of curvy material, it'll still track what we're doing. Oh, that's why I was getting that out. Is for being able to adjust that. I don't know if that'll do, but we'll find out shortly. Otherwise, I'll also get. Aha, that looks more. That's the job. Cool. What is it I work as? I work in a company called Additive. I am the head of production, running all the 3D printing that we do. This is multimeter. So rather than the filament-based 3D printing that you might have seen, this is some industrial 3D printing. So we use selective laser sintering is the main thing that I deal with, but we also do stereolithography and colored jet printing, binder jetting. But yeah, so head of production on that. I was until yesterday, and then I've been furloughed for a bit. So we have been doing all like the face shields and various different bits for. Yeah, 12 volts is a bit much. All the various bits and pieces for all the hospitals local to us in London. But it's yeah, not, you know, now that it's kind of plateauing in London, but also all the injection molding companies have kind of caught up. They got their tooling online. And got their supply chains in place, so I'm kind of having emergency stuff. Because what we usually do for all these hospitals is like, what's it called? Face shield, not face shields, what am I talking about? temporary cranial implants and surgical guides for maxillofacial dental surgery. But yeah, we've been doing facials and stuff recently. What do I want to set this to? So we're talking 2S. We want a kind of middle low, I guess. This 2S lithium ion. I don't know about lithium ion too much. Who knows about lithium ion? What is a sensible middle to low voltage I should set this to on here? While I'm googling, I will just bring this up here. So lithium ion cell voltage. Let's have a look. So what we're looking at here is probably something like 3 point. That's not lithium ion then, is it? Typical lithium ion voltage curve. So we probably want about 3.6 cell voltage, so 7.2 sounds about right. So let's go for that, which I think I've kind of had it on anyway. Yeah. Let's see. 0.8. Make it. Oh, I'm going away. That is quite a delicate operation. That'll do. What do you think? It seems about right, right? Yeah, it's a fun job. I do like playing about with all the big lasers and things. But it's just, yeah, we really would like this Glowforge, but turns out there's something about EU regulations versus American regulations. So they're fine shipping the laser cutter in the US because it's, you know, meets all their kind of environmental regs. But ooh, that's quite warm. Oh well. It'll be sitting in a reasonably big box. I think that'll probably go right. Let's put this out of the way. Well, actually, I might need that to deal with this bit. But yeah, so yeah, really want this Glowforge because I do like playing around with laser cutters, or even a vinyl cutter. Like all the 2D stuff is good, as much as obviously I am big into 3D printing, it being my job and all, and being past 3 jobs I've had, being pretty heavily 3D printing based. It's yeah, it does take quite a while to CAD something up in 3D, whereas for 2D it takes no time at all to just draw out a vector, and it is just really quick, and then it cuts it out really quickly. Laser cutting is the way to go for quick prototyping, rapid prototyping. What was I doing? Oh, where did I put those little... there we go. Yeah, so I would definitely like to get a laser cutter again. But yeah, for some reason the Glowforge ones, they won't ship to the EU because the filtration isn't there, and you get nasty, horrible chemicals off of the laser cutter. So we'd need like some particular extraction that we don't have, especially because we're in the middle of a residential area, and all the air handling stuff that we do is a massive pain in the arse anyway, because it's all got to be 10 dB below ambient, so that it doesn't add to the noise level. I'm doing just faffing about now. Yeah, so I don't see us getting that Glowforge anytime soon. A bit disappointing, but never mind, eh? I'll just have to pay Lasercut London or actually make my way over to London Hackspace at some point. Let's move this battery out of the way before I blow it up. Middle of 3D printing a mechanical clock. Mechanical clock, as in like a wind-up clock, like a clockwork clock, or is it still powered by a battery at some point? I guess. I'm trying to talk and think and do, and it's not going very well. I need to focus on something. Yeah, what's your how have you spent your time since SJL? Did you use your A level? Or was it kind of fun and then you just kind of leave it? Who else we got in the chat? We've got Blacksmith Joe, we've got Bright Until I Fly, Open FPV Flights, inspired to do a bit more uni work. Good. I've bored you enough to go and do some work. My job here is done. Things. So what are you up to then, Jack? Are you busy putting your desk back together and not putting furniture back onto you, or have you moved past that stage and got onto anything else? Ooh, 25mm thick steel being laser cut. That's got to be plasma cutting, right? Because that would be a hell of a laser. And I guess you could do it with a fiber laser, but it seems like a job for a plasma cutter. Did almost get a massive 5-axis CNC at one point, before I kind of pointed out that we didn't have the power to do it, but there you go. Fuck that, where's that? Come on. Ow, ow, hot. Whew. Weight and pendulum. Oh, so you kind of lift up the weight and then it, as the weight comes down, the pendulum does that little escapement? Is that the right term for it? I know we did some clocks many years ago, but I haven't done any clocky things for a while. Jack likes clocks. Jack builds clocks a lot. By a lot, I mean he's built one and he's got another one he's going to start building soon. Yeah, once I've actually done this, I'll have another camera to mix in with everything else in OBS. But yeah, I mean, I have my own projects that I want to do, but yeah, let me know if you think I should carry on streaming them, and maybe, I don't know, when's a good time, what's a good time of the week to do a stream of building crappily, because as has been shown already by Sheldon and Magical Pencil, I don't know what I'm doing. National School of Blacksmithing. I didn't know that was a thing, but that sounds cool. Head blacksmith. Wow. I tell you what, the blacksmithing stand at EMF camp, so it's electromagnetic field, which is a biannual, as in every 2 years, kind of massive geek fest camping event, where like any kind of is like, if you've seen the Maker Fairs, like quadruple that and make it into a weekend long camping festival, and that is EMF camp, and it is amazing. Yeah, that is definitely a cool event, and they have this big blacksmithing tent with like all the anvils and the furnaces and all the stuff that they do, and that is completely booked out the entire weekend. Everyone wants to have a go at that. You have to get there early if you want to get on that list. I did a past couple of them. I've somehow ended up again in charge of droney stuff for the EMF camp, but it's a pretty difficult proposition because it's a massive crowd of people and you're not allowed to fly near massive crowds of people, so trying to do it legally is tricky. So we always end up kind of in the next field over or something, and I don't want to do that because I want to like be involved in the actual event, which, you know, is no good if you're in the next field over, but it's still a fun event, and I've taken along a course and tried to get some kind of track timing going, but it's not easy. Yeah, I'm in London too, actually. I'm in North London. I'm in Gospel Oak. Work is in Kentish Town. I got that in right, didn't I? Yeah. Yeah, I can get rid of this now. More room for myself. So is a clock's like your big thing there, or do you do all sorts of blacksmithing stuff? I don't know how you specialise by firm in blacksmithing, whether there's kind of different verticals. Oh yeah, there was an Ask Me Anything that Tony did yesterday on the LDO channel? Was it on the LDO channel, Jack? You have to confirm that for me, I can't remember. Right, we've learnt the trick for this from last time. So, having learnt the tricks from Magical Pencil and Sheldon, thank you very much, guys, in the chat for pointing me in the right direction for the proper way to, well, not the proper way, but a way to actually make this work. I'm not around Harpenden. I am in Gospel Oak. My folks moved out of Harpenden almost exactly a year ago, down to the sunny south coast of England. Who's being killed on COD? Who's streaming on COD? Doesn't seem like a Tony thing to do. It could be. Right. Second time lucky, eh? Well, however many times you count. Come on. Tony's playing Call of Duty. Are you sure? Oh, I guess he does all the like airsoft, right? Is it just like a little virtual airsoft outlet? Is Danny on there? But yeah, I don't have anything that can play serious computer games at the moment. Well, I have the Oculus Quest. That is the closest I will be getting to a console. Or, well, I like I said, I might build myself a PC now that I'm spending more time at home. It might be worth having a PC that's actually able to do things rather than just barely hold on to a stream. But yes, there we go.
You're listening to poweringon.co.uk.
Positive to positive. Negative to negative. Yeah. Been working from home for 3 weeks, so it's been my evening project. Restoration, conservation and manufacture of new ironwork. Cool. We did some stuff for the National Trust. They had some big keys. Vaguely remember. There we go. That seems alright. Let's double check that it hasn't screwed up the voltage by being mushed around and heat shrunk and whatever else is going on in there. Plug that in. Nice big puffy goggles pack. Yes, that is what I use as my goggles pack. No, I don't plug it straight into my goggles. I use the, what are they called? Furious FPV cable thing. Let's see.
This came back from a search.
I beg your pardon? Why did anything come back from a search? What are you searching? What? Don't understand. My phone just decided to get involved in the conversation. Don't know why. Right, that is the negative and that is the positive. There we go. Still a nice, good 7 volts there. Sounds good to me. Still haven't worked out what I'm going to do for gluing that, but I might have some PVA somewhere. PVA is fine on nylon, turns out. Does the trick. Right. Who wants to see some very expensive magic smoke? Oh, let me bring this out so you can actually see the magic happen. See if I can pan it in the right way. Battery empty. Oh, I put it too low. Bugger. Closer. Getting closer. See, I can just cut out a little bit for that Where's a knife? Ah. There's one of them. No. I've been too tidy and tidied away my scalpel blades. No idea where I put them, so I will just bodge it with my Leatherman instead, because it's got a big pointy thing. That's all I really need. Well, I need a little pointy thing, but I can't find one of them. Let's unplug that so I don't fry things. It's probably a good start. Right. Gradually getting closer to the end, I hope. And I reckon that is the interesting bit that we want. Come on. Don't stab myself, please. There we go. That'll do. You might want to add a cap in there, and once you have the right voltage, little dab of CA the adjuster so nothing moves. You're assuming again that I have CA, which I'm not convinced I do. I think it may be somewhat past its best. And I didn't think to nab any more way out. Right, adjustments. So what did we say? Lithium ion. Lithium ion voltages. Voltage. And 3.75 is 80%. So, because I can't do maths while people are watching me, 7.5 volts. There we go. Let's try 7.5 volts then. How is the mic? How is the mic going? Because I'm using a different mic than I usually use, because my mic is usually like here, which would be unhelpful right now. So I'm using a different mic that is over there. I haven't really used it much, so let me know what you think. Is it alright to keep using this one? Oh, what am I doing? Pay attention, Frank. What are you doing? You're doing this. Plugging that back in. Checking that voltage. And adjusting it to 7.5 volts. Because you don't want it to fry your camera if it decides that it wants to add more percentage. bits if it wants to add more to your voltage because it gets warm or something. No, that's the wrong way. How is that also the wrong way? What? I do have hot glue. I can do that. Come on, adjust. What? How is both ways going down? There we go. 7.5. Right, before faffing about too much, putting it back together and taking it apart again, let's play Dementia. Should probably not just have contacts flailing around loosely, but never mind. Right, let's try again. Right, screen out so that you can see if I've succeeded. Power on, battery in the right way around. Boom! How about that then? What do you think? You can see my room. Cool. I'm happy about that. Very nice. Interesting. Might have a loose connection there, but that's probably because of those being literally loose. Maybe, maybe not. Find out in the next installment. Yeah, I should probably do something about that, shouldn't I? Let me see if I could find... Sorry, that's the mic. Just realised that was the mic. Sorry about that. There's my lemon. Let's see if I can get the cap off of this super glue without just drenching myself in super glue. That would be a good start. Do I have... No, that is just a cyanoacrylate brick. That is not gluing anything anymore. Hot glue it to buggery. That's not a bad plan. That's something I can do. If I can remember where I put my where did I put my hot glue gun? Again, far too tidy. Caused too many problems. I found a knife blade though. issue. Yoo-hoo's no good, but I mean I've got my glue gun, but I just don't know where the hot glue is. Feels like something it should be with the hot glue gun, but it's not. Oh, what have I done? I've moved something obviously, because you can see the camera now, the hidden camera that's no longer hidden. I just moved that or something. Ah, well, never mind. You've seen it now, spoiled the illusion. Where did I put some hot glue? Oh, right. Nope, no idea. I'll have to look for that some other time, I think, because I don't think I'm going to find that quite this evening. So I'll have to make do with a tiny, tiny little bit of hot glue I've got left in the gun. Have to do me for now. See how my my desk has progressed over the course of this tiny little project. Ah, I've definitely knocked that, haven't I? Yeah. Oh well. Never mind, eh? Oh, it's still plugged in. Let's unplug that. Bad Frank. Don't think hot glue works that well on nylon, so I'll have a go. Might work, might not. Might just have to tape it up until I can find some super glue or PVA, something a tad more appropriate. So you reckon just smooge in some hot glue, yeah? That's what you reckon. That is what the chat has spoken. It's definitely on. Yeah, definitely on. Yeah, Jack, if you're still there. Levels, all good? Like, can you hear me and hear the music but ignore the music enough? Yeah, is all sensible? Yeah, cool. Da, 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 da. Don't have a spudger. No, I've failed. Just on Discord with Curry. Are you going to be streaming some games, Jack? That's what you've done on the butt converters for your 3D printer. Ah, what, like the little screw adjustments for like stepper motion controllers or something that you use them for, right? From dim and distant memory. Right. Let's try talking about transmitter. Transmitter. Right, as Jack suggests, let's double check this. Double check this voltage here. Hopefully, I haven't just. Yeah, you can still see. Easy, cool. That's going. I can't remember which way around is which. I'll grab the battery that I had lying around here. There we go. So that way, positive on that side, negative on that side. Should be like that. Why don't I see any voltage? There we go. 7.52 volts still. Where do I fly in London? I fly at Wormwood Scrubs, at the designated flying field at Wormwood Scrubs. That's my preferred spot in London. A bunch of people did used to fly over at the Hackney Marshes. I don't know if they still do. When the Hackspace was over that way, and I used to go hang out with them. I don't know if you're actually meant to fly around there, but they used to do that. I think the justification was if you can kick a football around there, then having a little mini quad isn't going to be hugely different, but I don't know if I really subscribe to that. But yeah, Wormwood Scrubs, that's where I fly. I know a load of people fly over in Richmond as well, Richmond Park. Let's try sticking this there, just to prove it still works. Cool. Let's try flopping it around a bit, make sure there's no loose connections. Seems pretty solid. Cool. Job done. That is my little 3D printed camera power adapter. That's pretty sweet. Another camera to add to the OBS stream. So yeah, let me know how you think this has gone, whether I should do some more streamed builds coming up, whether there's anything else you'd like me to stream, because if you've been to any of the MA6 things, mini airshow events, then I'm thinking about maybe how we can do something about that for this year, because obviously in lockdown MA6 isn't going to happen at Popham, but maybe we can do something online. Let's unplug. Ow, 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 hot glue is hot. Where's some paper? Let's not set fire to things. Ooh, here we go. Might tidy that up a bit. when I not glue other batteries. When it gets some ISO again, I'll probably clean it up a little bit because I've just made that look cack, but never mind. It'll be in a camera most of the time. So yeah, cool. Job done. Right. Yeah, so that is the build of the Micro Four Thirds Olympus battery adapter, done in just over 2 hours. After a couple of false starts. And yeah, this was using this one that I got off of Thingiverse, the Olympus OMD BLN1 dummy battery Thingiverse file from Faith Blinded, which I printed on an SLS machine, and yeah, just put together with a mini 360 little power supply. So yeah, that's how he did it, and you've just seen how I done it. His looks somewhat neater than mine, but that doesn't look as neat as this would. So that's my argument there. But yeah, so thank you very much for watching this evening, and yeah, I will see you around. Goodbye.